पहले वाली बात बिल्कुल नहीं है। मतलब जब हम दोनों यंग थे तो सेक्स के बिना बिल्कुल नहीं कर पाते थे, लेकिन
Hi, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Here is a brief summary and review of the whole Dark Desire Season 1. Dark Desire is a Mexican thriller series that premiered on Netflix on 15th July 2020. It follows the story of Alma, a law professor who has an affair with a young man named Dario, and the consequences of her actions. The series has 18 episodes, each about 35 minutes long. Alma goes to a party with her friend Brenda, who suspects that Alma's husband Leonardo is cheating on her. Alma meets Dario, who seduces her and spends the night with her. The next day, Dario shows up at Alma's class as her student. Alma tries to avoid Dario, but he insists on seeing her again. They end up having sex at his mechanic shop. Meanwhile, Brenda is found dead in her bathtub, and Esteban, Leonardo's brother and a former cop, investigates her death. Esteban suspects that Brenda was murdered and finds a connection between her and Dario. He also learns that Brenda was having an affair with Leonardo. Alma confesses to her therapist that she is attracted to Dario but wants to save her marriage. Alma decides to end things with Dario, but he blackmails her with a video of their encounter. Esteban interrogates Dario, who claims that he was hired by Brenda to seduce Alma. Alma and Leonardo celebrate their anniversary, but their dinner is interrupted by a call from Zoe, their daughter, who is in trouble. Zoe reveals that she was chatting with a mysterious guy named Animus, who turned out to be Dario. Alma confronts Dario, who admits that he is in love with her. Esteban finds out that Dario is the grandson of a wealthy businessman who was involved in a murder case that Esteban investigated years ago. Alma and Dario continue their affair, while Leonardo and Esteban travel to Guadalajara to look for clues about Brenda's death. They discover that Brenda was working as a journalist and was investigating a corruption scandal involving a judge and a politician. Alma receives a threatening message from an unknown sender who knows about her affair with Dario. She suspects that it is Esteban, who has been following her. She confronts him, and he confesses that he is in love with her. Alma rejects him and tells him to stay away from her. Alma tells Dario that she wants to end their relationship, but he refuses to let her go. He tells her that he has a plan to expose Leonardo's infidelity and corruption, and asks her to trust him. Alma agrees, but secretly records their conversation and gives it to Esteban, hoping that he will arrest Dario. Esteban arrests Dario, but he escapes with the help of his uncle, Alberto, who is also the mastermind behind the corruption scheme. Alberto tells Dario that he framed his father, Antonio, for the murder of Leslie Davido, a young woman who was involved with both of them. Antonio committed suicide in prison, and Dario swore revenge on Alberto and Esteban. Dario kidnaps Alma and takes her to a cabin, where he reveals his true identity and motives. He tells her that he was using her to get to Leonardo and Esteban, who he blames for his father's death. He also tells her that he killed Brenda, who was working with Esteban to expose him. Alma tries to escape, but Dario catches her and shoots her. Esteban finds evidence that links Dario to Brenda's death and Leonardo's corruption. He tracks down Dario and confronts him, but Dario escapes. Alma receives a video from Dario, showing him shooting her in the cabin. Alma wakes up in a hospital and learns that Dario faked her death to protect her from Alberto and Esteban. Dario tells her that he loves her and asks her to run away with him. Alma agrees, but secretly contacts Leonardo and Zoe. Alma and Dario go to a motel, where they are ambushed by Esteban and his men. Esteban shoots Dario, but Alma manages to escape with him. They hide in a warehouse, where Dario reveals that he has a USB drive with evidence against Alberto and Esteban. Alma and Dario deliver the USB drive to a journalist who exposes Alberto and Esteban's crimes. Esteban is arrested, but Alberto escapes. Alma and Dario decide to start a new life together, but they are attacked by a hitman sent by Alberto. Alma and Dario survive the attack and go to a safe house. They make love, but Alma notices a scar on Dario's chest that matches the one on Animus. She realizes that Dario is the one who seduced Zoe and confronts him. Dario admits that he slept with Zoe, but claims that he did it to get closer to Alma. He also confesses that he killed Brenda, who was working with Esteban to expose him. Alma is disgusted and tries to leave, but Dario stops her. He tells her that he has a bomb and threatens to blow them both up. Alma manages to calm down Dario and convinces him to let her go. She calls Leonardo and Zoe and tells them that she loves them. She also calls Esteban and tells him where Dario is. Esteban arrives at the safe house and shoots Dario. Dario activates the bomb and the house explodes. Alma survives the explosion and reunites with Leonardo and Zoe. They decide to forgive each other and move on. Esteban is sentenced to prison and Alberto is killed by his enemies. Alma receives a letter from Dario, who says that he will always love her. The letter contains a photo of Dario and Zoe, implying that Zoe is pregnant with his child. The series has received mixed reviews from critics and audiences. Some praised the performances, the music, and the suspenseful plot, while others criticized the excessive sex scenes, the slow pace, and the predictable twists. The series has a 60% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 5 reviews, and an 89% audience score, based on 50+ ratings. On Koimoi, the series was rated 2 stars out of 5, and the reviewer wrote that there are so many sex scenes that you struggle to find some story. On the Cinemaholic, the series was rated 3.5 stars out of 5, and the review praised the gendered rhetoric and the storytelling technique of the show. I hope you enjoy watching it.